Hi everybody! Today we're going to talk about turnarounds, or the 1-6-2-5 progression. This is a very useful progression in jazz, and if you've been practicing your 2-5-1s, then you're going to find this easy because you will already have played these chords in a slightly different order, but the chord movements that are required to get through these should be familiar to you. In the lesson we've got the pattern in C and F. I'm going to focus on F for the time being here. So we start with F6, and then we go to D minor 7, then G minor 7, and C7. So let's first sing the roots like we talked about. So we've got F, F, D, G, C. So that's a pattern that is probably familiar to you if you've listened to jazz standards, or if you've been singing in a band. You've probably heard the band. If you have to call an impromptu introduction, often that will be the intro of choice, especially if the song already starts with a 1-6-2-5 at the beginning of its chord structures. So. And by the way, don't forget that the F6 and its relative minor, which is D is the relative minor of F, and the F6 chord and the D minor 7 chord can be voiced in identical fashion. So you're not going to see, sometimes people will play the F6 like this and the D minor 7 like this. So you're not going to hear that root movement from anything happening in the chords. You really have to hear it in your head, because on a gig the bassist is going to be playing bum, 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 bum. And often musicians will use something called a tritone substitution to make a smooth transition from one chord to the next, so they might not always play exactly this, but you're still going to be able to recognize it. That's what the bass movement would sound like if they did the tritone substitution, so you might hear that as well. But don't worry about it, it's still, at its essence, it's still a turnaround, and it's achieving the same goal, all right? So let's play this. I'm going to pick the roots out in the chord, because these voicings happen to have the roots in them, all right? So I'm going to play F, then D, G, and C. Now notice you're sometimes hearing those roots in a different octave, so that's not the way you're going to hear it when it's played on the bass. So you'll just have to accept the fact that that's one of the limitations of the ukulele. The root movements don't, when they fall under our fingers in the chords, they don't always occur in a nice sort of natural bassy kind of way, but that's all right. And I can play this inversion of D minor 7, which you have in your lesson notes. And the D is going to be here instead of... So here's another alternative for this same chord progression. F6, D, G, C. All right? So, but I'm going to sing them now in a more normal octave for me, which is and we can now say the full name of the chord as well if we want to anchor that into our heads. F6, D minor 7, G minor 7, C7. All right, so have fun practicing that.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak.